Alright, SUMARI to everybody out there. It's your brother Set. Back on this, I believe this is the 82nd video. Yeah. Just want to say thanks everybody once again who follow my videos. Appreciate everybody. Shout outs to the regulars, you know who you are. Billy Boy, Nathan Phillips, Melissa Johnson, of course Akadidi Sumari as always, and a lot of others. If I miss your name, it's just because, you know, I'm making this video spontaneously right now. So, you know, I can't really see, I don't remember right now all the other names, but you guys know who you are, and I appreciate all of you. So, yeah, guys, let's see, I got a little bit of time here, so let me just hop right into it. Now, that last video I talked about those books and things that I left out a few points. See, sometimes when I make videos, there's a lot of things I want to get into, but they slip my mind because, like, I'm making videos on the go, and when I shut the video down, so I was like, oh man, I wanted to say this, I wanted to say that. But I talked about those books by Clive Barker signed that I got. I said I was going to let you know if I got the second book. I did get the second book. It came this morning. I got it. And yeah, man, like I said, it's a special edition, limited edition, only 175 in the world. It's signed and it's in mint condition. I was a bit worried because, you know, it was coming from the same store I got the other ones from. That's like a chain. It's called Book Off over here in Japan. And I got it from them, used. So, you know, you never really know. I mean, you go by the pictures of what you see on the site, but you don't know what it's actually going to turn out to be like. And it ended up turning out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be. I mean, actually better. It's like pure mint condition quality. There's nothing wrong with it, at least when I looked at it. I'll give it a once over again, but I got a pretty good eye, and I didn't notice anything wrong with it. I mean, it's like as if it just came out of the book printing itself, man. So I was like, I'm really excited and shit, man. But I'll get back on that. I'll mess around with that when I go home today. But anyway, now, a lot of you may be wondering, how is this possible? How could he have this ability to pull books, you know, books or anything that he talks about? He's manifesting, he's pulling things. Okay. Okay. And, you know, he's pulling things to him, and pulling things to me, sorry. Yeah, how is he pulling things to him and all that? You okay? All right. People breaking shit. Too much power in these videos, man. Yeah. So, and this is how it works, man. It's like, I know in that video I said, well, how am I doing this? And I got the voice that talks to me. But you guys got to remember, right? All these videos that I've been making all this time, a lot of times I talk as if these things are new, you know. And I do that so that you could comprehend better, you know, to put yourself in the situation that I'm in. But in all actuality, like, none of this stuff is actually new to me, and it's not shocking at all because I just know how it flows by now. And one other explanation is you have to also remember that the inner self, remember that guy, or it, excuse me, the inner self is outside of time and space, man, you know. So like I said, I already had memory of having that book, right? But what actually happened is that the inner self is aware of all timelines simultaneously that go on at the same moment point. So when I said I had a memory that I had already bought that book, it's true. I did already buy it. And that memory was coming from this moment point right now. You see what I'm saying? So I already had the vision. I felt as if I had it. I had memories of having it. But at that moment, I didn't actually have the physical book with me. What was happening was the inner self was going into that timeline, that other official timeline of consciousness, which is now this official timeline of consciousness, where I already have the book. And it was aware that I was going to have the book. I was going to have it physically. And it was assuring me and guiding me along the pathway to make that moment point my present reality, which is happening right now. You see what I'm trying to say? I hope you didn't get lost on that. Let me reiterate. The inner self is outside of all time and space. It doesn't follow linear time, which we follow in physical bodies because most individuals can't handle multiple timelines occurring at once. We're physically made to endure just one, although through certain practices, meditation, getting in contact with your inner self, and a lot of others, you can transcend those limitations and be aware of other probabilities and possibilities. So, right, the inner self saw, basically we could say, in terms of a human experience, of a physical experience, we could say that the inner self jumped ahead, though it's not really jumping ahead, it's more of a going off to the side and witnessing and viewing an alternate reality, an alternate present point, where I didn't have the book, and it saw that, and it made it aware to me, and it helped me from that moment point follow the steps and go along the pathway necessary to make that future probability and actuality, which is where I am right now, where I actually have the physical book in my possession. So meditate on that for a minute. And this is what happens a lot, right? Through so-called time. We come across certain things, certain images, and from those, we think, what's this? This is something new. But it's actually not new at all. It's new from your point of understanding right now at that moment point. In actuality, it's already happened. It's already happening at the same time. So we get a hold of information and then we start making shit and we think, this is the apex of, the 21st century or whatever, And it's like we think we're down and we just got something new, but it's not new at all. We simply pull it from other realities. If it's something that's too advanced, say for example, if it's something that's coming from a far future point that is perceived as the future from our present moment point now, we won't be able to get that because perhaps the materials or things or the belief systems that are already occurring in that reality are not strong enough now to make it a possibility. So we'll pull up the next best thing, and that next best thing will set into motion other probabilities that will lead up to it so that in the future we will get that. If you guys can follow me on that. This is some advanced level shit. But anyway. So, right. Now, what was I going to say, man? I had some other good points I wanted to get into. So, yeah, I got the book. I got that. I had some real good stuff I wanted to get into. It just slipped my mind right now, man. All right, maybe it'll come to me. It always comes back to me. SUMARI made a video about God. All that is very nice stuff. He said in his video that he himself has been birthed from another possibility where he's a monk, and another probable reality where he's a monk, and that monk's desires, sexual desires, wants, needs, everything birthed him into existence, which is true. And that's how it is for many of us. If you think about it like this, pretty much everyone on the planet is simply a probable version of each other. I said this many times. I'm a probable version of you. You're a probable version of me. We all come from the same source. So if you want to get technical, you could say that this is where the phrase "we're all one," we are all God, we are all that is true. We actually are all apart from the same source code, all that is. But we also have individuality. The problem is that we tend to fail to realize and acknowledge the connection points between one another, and we separate it with childish things such as race, nationality, cultural beliefs, political parties, establishments, science, and all. We have all these subcategories that divide us from one another. So we don't see the connection points. We can't realize with the power we really are that we're all one, and that if we could all just come to those terms, we could have the most amazing physical reality experience that, it's like it's so great you can't even imagine it. We can't get to that point though, because we're too busy worried about other subcategories that we put ourselves in, or even worse, we allow others to put ourselves into those categories, whether it be squirrely religions or, whatever have you. But you have to see the connections, man. They're all there. Everything is there. Nothing's really new under the sun. Of course, new things are created. What I mean that you already know everything you need to know. We look for others to give us the answers because we don't believe we have the power within ourselves to come up with them. But you're fully equipped. The moment you enter this reality, you're fully equipped to basically deal with any situation that's thrown at you, and you adapt. And you see this in countries, for example, this is a very basic example, but you see some countries where people live in extremely harsh environments. It's very cold, it's very hot, or they're in poverty, they're eating garbage from garbage cans and stuff. You would say, I would never do that. Oh God, how could they live? I could never eat out of trash cans and search for food. But that's only because you're not in that reality. If you were birthed and you had your physical experience in that reality, you wouldn't know the difference, and you would have adapt to that environment. And that's how it is in all realities. Now, last night I had a pretty powerful experience, as usual. This week, man, it's like I've been on fire, man. I've been like literally, well, not literally, because I'd be flaming. I just been on fucking fire, man. It's like, yo, I pulled those books, manifested those books that I wanted, got 2 of them back to back, signed. Some jewelry that I wanted, pulled that down that I had actually wanted for a long time, pulled that out. What else? All right, I got to give this to you guys, right? I talked in the past about exercising, right? And how exercising actually builds up a lot of energy that will help you in your projections. Now, I'm going back old school now. We're going to touch on like some astral projections, out of body stuff. And it's, everything's all connected, man. There's this lucid dreaming page right now. I don't really like getting on people's pages and stuff because like everyone, what I'm about to say, I don't want to come off as negative, right? But like everybody has their own view about what's going on, just like I have my own view. And I don't really like joining on other people's pages unless they're like pretty open as like I am, And I don't really like sponsoring people. Like, he's a sponsor now. I'm only on 400 and something people, but like I don't really like pushing people's videos and shit, man. Like I push SUMARI because, I feel up to this point, everything he's saying, I don't disagree with anything he's been saying, and I feel we have a connection. But someone told me about a lucid dreaming site to get on one time. So I said, okay, I'll join. I was a little bit hesitant, but I joined anyway. And, I posted a few videos once in a while, things I made. But out of habit, the last video, like with the jewelry video, I posted that video onto their website. And, the moderator, I guess it was the moderator, he contacted me and he said that, it was cool. He wasn't like an asshole. He was just like, hey, I'm sorry, we had to take down your video because we didn't feel it had any connection with lucid dreams or astral projections. And I was just like, exact quote, I was just like, okay, cool, brother, sorry. It was just out of, habit where I just post things on certain websites. And he was like, okay, thank you, that was it. Now, I'm not knocking him, I'm not going to bash him because he's just doing what, his job is, I guess, to moderate. And he's right, I didn't say anything about lucid dreams in the title. But just on a side note, it's like, this is a good example, though, of like, why people are so disconnected in this so-called lucid dreaming experience, community. Because they don't see the connections that are important to make them realize their abilities to do these things. In the comment he said, I don't see the relevance to your video, you're selling jewelry and suicide. And, if he took the time to read and on my videos, I put a little bio for the video. This video is about this. On that video, I can't remember exactly what I wrote, but one, I wasn't trying to sell jewelry. It was making your own jewelry. I didn't say anything. At one point, I never had a sales pitch. And 2, the suicide thing is like, the video, I explained it. It was about making your own jewelry, suicide, and why people can't project, into other states of reality. But I'm guessing this individual didn't see that. So right away they thought, okay, he's holding jewelry. He saw the word jewelry, so it's like, okay, he's trying to sell jewelry. There's no connection. And this is exactly why I don't like getting on other people's pages, man. Because like this whole lucid dream community stuff, it's nice. I'm not knocking it, and it's helping. It is helping a lot of people. A lot of people are new. A lot of people coming into this new. They have no idea, and everyone's trying to help each other out and figure out what's going on. Cool. Not against that at all. On the flip side, though, you get somebody like me, SUMARI, and we've already gone beyond that. You see what I'm trying to say? Is like, I'm not saying that the Lucid Dream pages are beneath me. I'm not trying to knock them in that level, but I'm simply saying that we're just on a whole nother level, man. It's like these guys are still on, like the comments people put, like, oh, hey guys, these are just different people posting. It's like, hey guys, I almost had a lucid dream last night, or hey, look, I got this herbal tea. It says it's for dreaming. Do you guys know about it? It's like equivalent to you're on university level of the most elite. And then you're going back to high school, and you're trying to fit in with high schoolers, and you're saying like, yo, man, I just read this book on writing this thesis on this. It's like, no, and they're showing you some stuff that, you know what I'm trying to say, man. It's like, we're just on another level, man. I'm going to leave it at that, We're working with different energies, man. A lot of these individuals on the lucid dreaming websites, God bless them all, man, but they just don't see the connections. They're still focusing on things like, hand checks during the day, and, you're doing a hand check, so turning the light switch on and off. A lot of us have gone past that, and this is the purpose of my videos that I've been saying for the longest, man. There has to be the next stepping point, the next level of development. And I don't really see that in this so-called lucid dreaming community, if you want to call it that. I see a lot of videos about doing dream checks and reality checks and things like that, but I haven't seen anybody really going deep into it. And I'm just going to give you an example, right? Let me just break this down. I got a few minutes. I'm going to just hit y'all with something on the level that I'm working with and others. So I stopped exercising for a while, right? For a few months, actually, on purpose, to prove something to myself, right? On a physical level. We talked in the past, I said about how exercising builds up certain energies within your body, builds up electromagnetic energy, and there's two extremes. On one side, you don't exercise. On one side, you exercise and you build up all this energy, and that supports you for when you start dreaming. When you go into non-physical states, all that built up energy is siphoned off and used to support you in your otherworldly travels. The same goes with sex. For some people, like the monks who supposedly don't have sex, all that built up sexual energy helps them with their projections. On the other side of that, people who do release themselves, that release of energy helps them travel to other realities. So that's how that is, right? So I stopped exercising for a while, and I noticed my powers dropped significantly. I mean, they just started plundering. And I'm not worried about it because I'm at this level, like I said, I'm far advanced in all of this, and none of this shit's new to me. And I knew that I always know my place of power, my point of power is in the present moment. So it didn't scare me. I knew I could get my powers back at any time. But powers dropped significantly, right? And this has been for a few months. So at some point, finally I decided, all right, it's time for me to gain my power back. And I was drained dry, basically, of my energy. When I started exercising again, which all this comes back with me getting those books, those projecting my reality, getting those 2 Clive Barker books and all that. Once I started training again, like one day I said last week, right before that book event happened, I said, all right, time to get my shit back in order and reclaim my reality. Once I said that, boom, the book manifested. I had the vision of the book. Boom, there was another book signed by him. I got that. Boom, I got this ring that I've been wanting for a while. Boom, all this shit starts manifesting out of nowhere. And yesterday I did a pretty hard workout. And what happened? I wasn't even asleep. I was in the middle of a drama watching it. And I closed my eyes. I drifted off. And immediately I was in this other reality. The other reality I was in, I was actually still in the room that I was in, and everything seemed pretty normal. Suddenly, there's some guys banging on the door trying to get in. Well, they were making noise, and I went and tried to lock the door. The door wouldn't lock, and suddenly they're pushing on the other side trying to get in. And it sounded like some kind of fake-ass thugs or whatever. So what happens? I'm holding the door, and at that split moment, I became conscious. And I thought, Oh fucking yeah. I'm back in. What happened? I threw the door open like fucking He-Man. And this guy had a gun. It was a group of them. And I just looked at him and I was just like, you already know what's gonna happen. So, old habits. Froze him, telekinesis. Waved my hand. His hand went up in the air with the gun. Snapped my fingers. The gun flew out of his hand. Picked him up without physically touching him. Telekinesis. Threw him across the room. His boy was coming running at him. Boom. Stopped him in place. Broke him down. Threw him across the room. Third guy came at me and I thought, well, I don't have to kill everybody. I placed my hand on his chest and I started speaking in SUMARI. And I basically said to him in SUMARI that, in the SUMARI language, stop this, you're also SUMARI. You don't have to go this way as far as being violent. You're a projection, but I'm acknowledging your existence. And I said all this in SUMARI. And he stopped at that moment. He became calm. You see what I'm saying? And we went for a walk on this beach. And it was funny because this guy, he was attracted to me. And he was trying to push up on me. And I was like, hey, man, look. I'm aware. We're all multidimensional. But I just have a thing for women. I'm not really into men. So you're a little bit too close. Back up a minute. But I have nothing against that. It's just that in my experience, I love female flesh. And then he backed up and we went for a walk on this beach. And there was some guys playing guitar, some classical music. And it was amazing, man. And I was taking it all in. And at that moment in this experience, I was walking going, yeah, this connects to that video I made about not wasting money on vacations. Look where I'm at now. I'm on a beautiful fucking tropical island, admiring the sunset on a beach that's just as real as anything else. And then I came back to my body and documented. This was like at 2:50 a.m. in the morning. So the point of all this, of what I'm trying to say, is that I am aware all of that, me getting the signed Clive Barker books, me pulling the jewelry to me that I wanted, me getting this powerful experience last night. My power was never gone and your power was never gone. It's always there, man. It's just that based on certain things you do in a physical reality will determine the level of strength you have. If you're a lazy fuck and you don't want to do anything, you don't exercise, you don't practice, you don't meditate, you don't do nothing, your projections are going to be weak, your powers are going to be weak, and you're going to be getting punked by your own projections when you go into these other states. Because I exercise heavy, all that energy assisted me in that projection. And just a mental note, like I said, I was watching a drama. When that kicked off, but when I woke up and looked at the drama, at the point from when I had drifted off to then, it was like only 5 minutes had passed. And that whole experience, it was very, very long. It's longer than 5 minutes. So the point I'm trying to say is that these are the things that people like the moderator missed, They just going by titles, or you got to put in the title, Lucid Dream Challenge, Lucid Dream, reality checks. And then they think that's what it takes to pretend you know about lucid dreaming. But I'm going into some shit that's like way above all of that. And I'm going into the science of it, of how doing certain things physically actually assists you in your projection and stuff. But, I'm okay. I'm cool. I'm not making this a rant. Like, oh, fuck that guy. Like I said, nothing against him. He was just doing his job. And, he was a cool guy. And that was the end of it. So there's nothing bashing him or bashing the website. I'm simply just making a point that, the level of information that I'm working with, I could tell you SUMARI's working with, and just on a whole nother level, man, and those like lucid dream sites, they're cool and they're good for what they are. But if you want to go into some higher shit and like really start dealing with real power, just watch my videos, man, or watch his videos, or go pick up, the books I've recommended in the past and things like that, man. It's all out here, man. All the power's here, all the information's here, and you have it all. But people just don't want it, man. People want to get, quick fix. They want to go to an enlightenment seminar where they pay $1,000. I want to get enlightened now. I'm going to do it this weekend, on April 9th. I'm going to go get enlightened in the Caribbean on a tour. I'm going to pay $1,000. I'll get my enlightenment certificate, and now I'm spiritual. And that's the shit people want to see, man. This is why my channel doesn't have, I can tell you SUMARI only has like I think 49 or 50 subscribers. I've only got 400 something. Not nearly enough as others, because I'm not talking about UFOs, I'm not talking about Atlantis, I'm not talking about, what's the other one that people are running around about? I can't remember right now, but archons and all this other stuff, I'm not dealing with limitation. I don't deal with limitations. All my videos are going to be about power, self-power, and boosting yourself up, man. So if you guys want to hear about that kind of stuff, magical spells and, you know, all that kind of shit, go ahead. But I'm always going to go back to the real power is coming from you. You are a reality manipulator. I deal with reality warpers. That's my specialty. And my power, one of them, is to help you realize your power as a reality manipulator, a reality warper. That's what it's all about. Manifesting reality, not following systems, not wanting to be a lucid dreamer on the weekends, and during the week you're worried about, you know, whatever else you're into for the physical realm. All that stuff, it has to be connected. It has to be connected. It's all connected. You can't be a lucid dreamer part-time and the rest of the time you're focusing on just physical stuff that has no connection to it. It's either all or nothing, man. You know? So, like I said, I'm all about reality warpers. I gotta go. SUMARI to everybody out there. I love y'all. Get back at you.